Hello everyone and welcome to Journey with the Colors. My name is Amanda Keller and today we are back in the Keller kitchen. So today we are going to be making something from the Outlander kitchen cookbook. This is To the New World and Back. And today's recipe is actually called The Old Fox's Roast Haunch of Venison. So this is actually my last deer meat recipe that I have. I still have quite a bit of deer meat in the deep freezer, but most of it is now ground deer meat. So if my husband wants to make hamburgers or something out of it, that'll be up to him. But I have finally gone through almost all of the, roast and stuff that we had of the deer meat in the freezer. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, my husband got a whole bunch of deer meat. Part of it was from working on an ATV for some of it, and part of it he bought, but he bought way too much. And the only person who really likes the deer meat in the house is him. And so we had half of our deep freezer full of deer meat and couldn't really fit a whole lot of stuff in our deep freezer. So I've been going through recipes in my cookbooks that I had in order to find some new recipes for the deer meat to try to find a way that we would all like to eat it. Some have been a success, some have been not so great, but at least we've gone through a lot of the deer meat now and it's not taking up so much room in my deep freezer. It's always a good thing. Okay, so basically for this one, it's fairly easy. The only thing you're really going to need to do ahead of time is you are going to need one medium onion chopped up, one large carrot chopped up, 2 celery stalks chopped up, and then 1 preserved lemon cut into quarters. Now, if you don't have a preserved lemon or whatever, I know there's recipes to make them, but if you don't have time to do that, it does say you can use half of a fresh lemon and just cut that into probably little quarters. And so that's what I did. I used a fresh lemon because I don't have any preserved lemon. Okay, so once you get that done, to start out, what you're going to do is you need to pull actually you probably need to do this before you cut up your veggies, but you are supposed to pull your deer meat out 1 hour, pull it out of the refrigerator anyways. It should be thawed. If you need to thaw it ahead of time. But you need to pull it out of the refrigerator 1 hour before you're getting ready to cook it. I think it kind of wants it a little bit closer to the room temperature, okay? Once you get your vegetables chopped up, you're gonna preheat your oven to 450 degrees. Put your roast in a roast pan. You're gonna need 4 pounds, I think it is, of venison. 3 to 4 pounds of venison roast, or does it call it something else? Sorry, it's on the other page, so I have to flip back. Boneless venison haunch is what it says. Now, I actually didn't have a boneless venison haunch. I had like 4 separate pieces of venison. I guess they would be smaller roasts, so they're about a pound a piece. So I just kind of put them into the roast pan. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, and you're going to dump this over top of the venison like so. And we're going to rub that in here in a minute. But first I want to get the salt on. So you're going to need 1 tablespoon of kosher salt. It's supposed to be kosher. Mine isn't kosher. Just so you know, I just use regular salt. I don't buy all the different kinds of salt. Okay. We're going to sprinkle that on. Okay. And then also you need 3/4 of a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. Okay. All in there. Okay, and I'm going to rub that in just a minute. But first what I'm going to do is you need to put some olive oil. So I put my carrots and celery and my lemon and my onion all in a bowl because you are going to add, it says the rest of the olive oil. So we already used 1 tablespoon. And it says 4 teaspoons. So I don't know how much that is, but that's okay. We'll just kind of, okay. So it just says to toss. So I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil on here. I can't remember the ratio for teaspoons to tablespoons. It's all a little bit too much confusing right now to think about. So I'm just going to toss this in a little bit of olive oil. Okay. And you can just let that sit for now. You're gonna come back and use it in a little bit. All right, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and rub all this salt and pepper and olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, into your deer meat. I would especially make sure that you get the undersides as well so that everything is coated in salt and pepper and all of that, okay? And then you are going to put this in the oven, in the middle of the oven. So you wanna make sure your rack is moved to the middle of the oven, okay? And you're gonna put this in the oven at 450 degrees for about 20 minutes, okay? And then once that 20 minutes is up, we're gonna pull it out and I will come back and show you what we're gonna do because there's other things we're going to do to this. This is just kind of like a little pre-cook. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure all this salt and pepper and extra virgin olive oil gets rubbed in. And then I'll stick it in the oven, in the middle of the oven for about 20 minutes. And then I'll come back and show you guys what our next steps are. Okay, so I'll be back in just a minute. Hey you guys, so our timer has just gone off for the 20 minutes and I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out. Alright, as you can see, it's kind of started to brown and stuff. It's looking pretty good, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we are going to turn the oven down to 350 degrees while we do the rest of this stuff. And I do need to pull out this here. Okay, so you are going to need 3 ounces of pancetta, which I couldn't find, so I just got bacon. Works the same. Okay, so here's what you're gonna do. So you're gonna pull it out of the oven. You're gonna turn the oven down to 350 degrees. You're gonna take 6 bay leaves and place it on the top of the roast. So here's 1, 2, 3. You're really packed in there. 4, 5, and 6. And it does say it's preferable if you use fresh bay leaves, but I don't have that and I don't have my own herb garden. So if you have fresh bay leaves, great. If you don't worry about it. Okay, now we're gonna place our vegetables all around the edge here of the roast. Okay. Get it all in there here. Okay, after you get the vegetables all around the roast, then you are going to take 3 ounces, like I said, of pancetta or bacon, as I'm using. And you're just gonna wrap that around the top of the roast, okay? I have no idea how much 3 ounces is. This is like a 1 pound, was a 1 pound bag that I had already opened for something else. So I'm just gonna make sure that basically the whole roast is covered in the bacon, okay? Almost there. There we go. Okay, now once you get that all covered, I think that's our last thing that we need to do, right? Oh no. So then you also need to pour a 1/2 cup of red wine over it, okay? There we go. Okay, so once you have that done, then you're going to stick this back in the oven at 350 degrees and you're going to continue cooking it until it comes to the temperature that you want it to come at. It says it'll probably take about 35 minutes, but you need to start checking it with a thermometer at 30 minutes and then every 15 minutes after that in order to get it to the temperature you want. So if you want it to be a medium rare, or a rare, I'm sorry, you need it at 125 degrees Fahrenheit. If you want it to be a medium rare, you want it at 130 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you want it to be a medium, you want it at 135 degrees Fahrenheit. Do not let it go above 140 degrees or it'll be too tough. So what I'm gonna do right now is just check the temperature of where it's at now, just to kind of get an idea here. So let's stick some of this in there and see what we get. Okay. So we're actually almost there. So I'm actually going to have to be really careful, probably because this isn't a full roast. These are pieces for me. So that's probably part of it. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this back in the oven, and I'll just keep a closer eye on it. But if you do actually have the 4-pound roast, then it should be fine to cook for at least 30 minutes at first and start checking it with the thermometer. Okay. All right. So I'm going to get this cooked up, and then I'll be back and, show you guys how it came out, and we'll try it. And although we're gonna have to let it sit and stuff for a little bit, so there's a few other things to do after this, so I'll come back and do those things, and then we'll see how it turns out. So I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, you guys, so our venison is all done, and I have moved it to a platter here. I'll give you guys a close-up look. It's looking pretty good. I'm a little worried it may be just a little bit overcooked, so hopefully it's not gonna be dry. I caught it right as it was almost hitting the 140 stage. Okay, but what you're gonna do is I would move it to a platter because you're gonna need this juice in the pan. So you're just supposed to tent a piece of aluminum foil over top of it and let it sit for 20 minutes, okay? Now while that is sitting, what you're gonna do is you are gonna take a saucepan with like a strainer or something over it. I'm using like a small hole strainer. And you're gonna take this juice from the pan, and you want to strain out all those veggies and stuff, but you want to keep the juice. So you're going to put the juice in here. Oops, made a mess, that's okay. Strain the veggies. And then you're just going to discard those, okay? I'm trying to make sure I get some more of most of the juice out here. I'm just going to put that in here and move this out of the way. Okay? All right, so once you get that done, then what you're gonna do is you're going to bring this to a boil. Okay, so I'm gonna have it up on some high heat. And you're gonna bring it up to a boil, okay? So I'll wait until this comes to a boil, and then I'll come back and show you guys what we add to this, okay? So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, you guys, so this came up to boil and came up pretty quick because it was already hot from the stove. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna add in a 1/2 cup of red wine. I'm going to turn this back up to high to bring it back up to a boil. You're also going to add in 1 cup of beef stock. Okay. Basically, you're going to bring this back up to a boil, and then you're going to turn it down to low and just like simmer it for about 10 minutes. You want it to basically reduce by 1/3. So you want 1/3 of the liquid to disappear while it's boiling, okay? Should take about 10 minutes, maybe a little longer. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then you can season it to taste. So if you wanna add salt and pepper to this or whatever, this is basically just like a dipping thing for your venison, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and get this done and let it simmer for 10 minutes, and then I'll be back after that has rested for its 20 minutes, and we'll try this and see how it tastes. So I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, you guys, so our meat has rested for 20 minutes, and our nice little dipping sauce has strained off about 1/3 of it. Now you can keep it on a low heat to kind of keep it warm if you want while, you know, people are getting ready to eat or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off just a small piece of the deer meat. Oh, and I'm going to get a small one here. I don't want a very big one. Okay, and then I want to put a piece of bacon with it. Okay. Go. Oops, missed the bacon. Here we go. There we go. And then I'm just going to dip it right in the sauce here. All right, let's give this a try and see how it tastes. Hopefully it's not chewy because hopefully I didn't overcook it. Here we go. It's actually pretty good. Maybe just a little bit chewy, but not super bad. Like it's not something I can't handle. So I may have cooked it just a little bit too long, but it's not like aggressively like I can't chew it up. It's actually really good, and that sauce really brings out a really good flavor in it. So I would definitely advise using the sauce while you're eating it. So I don't taste any gaminess from the deer meat, which is one of the things I don't like the most about deer meat. So I don't taste any of that. And with the bacon and the sauce, and actually pretty good, you guys. Okay, you guys, so that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. Like and subscribe if you like, or don't if you don't. Everyone have a good day. Enjoy your cooking. Keep your kitchen messy, and we'll see you later. Bye.